treat more than 100 people every day. In the developed world, cataracts rarely get so bad, especially in young people, that they result in blindness. But here, because of poor care and likely poor nutrition, the incidence is as much as 10 times higher than in the West and afflicts young and old alike. This woman is only 35, and her blindness has kept her from marrying. And this woman has been totally dependent on her husband for years. The demand here is enormous. But in North Korea, cataracts are only a small part of the humanitarian nightmare. German physician and human rights activist Norbert Fallerton worked for over a year in North Korea. He shot pictures of the horrible medical conditions, bloody old operating tables, beer bottles for IVs, no antibiotics or anesthesia.
Of course, the North Korean government will tell you everything is free in North Korea. It's not true, because it's not available. There is no medicine, there is no running water, there is even no soap in the hospital.
But it was the lack of food and its effect on children that made the most lasting impression.
When I was a medical doctor in North Korea, I saw a lot of starving children. I saw children dying under my hands when I was too late, when there was no more need for any emergency duty, because the child was dying when I came into the room. So I felt so helpless.
In the mid-1990s, natural disasters and government mismanagement created a famine that killed up to 3 million people, about 10% of North Korea's population. Taking place in the heart of prosperous East Asia, it was one of the worst famines of the century. Today, nearly 40% of North Korean children remain chronically malnourished. The average 7-year-old boy in North Korea is nearly 20 centimeters shorter and 10 kilos lighter than his brother in South Korea.
But I'd say the damage to his bones is permanent.
They're called the stunted generation.
It's a tragic situation, and it's extraordinary because same race, same people, same basic diet, and that's all malnutrition.
Reluctant to ask for help from the outside world, Kim Jong-il has expelled aid workers. Over time, he has isolated the country from much of the world, even cutting off communications with his neighbors to the south. This room on the DMZ is one of the few places set up for meetings between the North and South Koreans. One door opens to the south and the other to the north. They hold hands to keep from being pulled over the border. Both sides have access. But despite only being separated by a pane of glass, a meeting is hard to come by. Simply trying to get a message across the border reveals how much relations have broken down. Today, the joint U.S.-South Korean forces have a message to pass to their counterparts only a few meters away in the north. A telephone hotline is supposed to connect the two sides. They use a 1962 Russian crank phone contributed by the North Koreans in the 1980s to ring up their neighbors to the north. Apparently, it's not a good day to call North Korea. But there is a foolproof method to get their message across.
Pick up the phone. We have a message to pass.
전달할 통지문이 있으니 전화를 받아주시기 바랍니다.
We have a message to pass and we'll be reading it.
전달할 동기문을 지금부터 읽겠습니다.
To Senior Colonel Kwak Yong-hun, Korean People's Army. Subject, remains repatriation.
The South Korean forces have found the body of a North Korean soldier who was washed downstream after a recent storm.
In accordance with paragraph 13 Foxtrot of the Armistice
They want to
Agreement,
repatriate this body, along with more than 50 Korean war remains they believe belong to the North.
he failed to respond to our proposals to meet on 26 July.
They've tried once before to reach the North Koreans over this issue.
I propose to meet you in the Military Armistice Commission conference room at 1400 hours to arrange the repatriation of all these remains. Signed, Colonel John W. Towers, Secretary, United Nations.
But today, again, the only response is silence. Evidently, the North Koreans respond only when Kim Jong-il tells them to. Making the case that it's part of our medical research, I've been pushing our minders for a while to let us go to the home of a blind patient. Much to my surprise, they suddenly agree. The blind woman lives in a 6th-floor apartment in the heart of Pyongyang. Since I'm told I'm the only American in the country, I feel lucky, but a bit surprised that the Minders are willing to take me here.
What a beautiful home.
There are 6 government officials watching our every move, but it's still a rare chance to see inside a real North Korean home. Like others in Pyongyang, this is a privileged family. The woman lives here with 4 of her family members, including her 2 granddaughters.
How difficult is life for your mother without sight?
The son-in-law answered without missing a beat.
The most difficult thing for my mother-in-law is not being able to see Kim Jong-il, the dear leader.
Why do you want to see the Supreme Leader so much, so bad?
이 세상에 나다가 우리 수령님 덕에 우리 자식들 팔남매가 이렇게 행복하게 사는 걸 우리 수령님을 쳐다보고 인사하고 싶어도 수령님이 용상이 우리 빛이라도 보였으면 하는 소원이 됐습니다.
She was obviously moved, but what surprised me was so was everyone else.
This party official is crying.
Even this government minder.
어머니 말씀 들어서 눈물이 나는데 나라가 그 장군님 안 계신다면 우리는 다 죽은 목숨을 하는 거예요. 나도 어렸을 때 아버지 잃고 정말 장군님 품속에서 학원을 거쳐서 오늘처럼 이렇게 도의민의 대사 지도를 이루라는데
North Korea is a very small country. How does the great leader defend it against big powers like America?
우리 나라는 비록 작아도
Even though North Korea is small, we serve the greatest leader in the world.
미국 놈들이 가지고 있는 이
We have a strong arm of unity, which is stronger than America's atomic bomb.
어쩌지 못하고 조선 앞에 쫄쫄
America has no idea how to deal with us.
김정일 장관님을
This is all because we have General Kim Jong-il as the leader of our nation.
It helps to have nuclear weapons, doesn't it?
As the conversation wound down, I wondered, where did North Korea's willingness to face down the entire world come from?
Our country's unity is stronger than a nuclear weapon, so we're not afraid.
How did this powerful mindset take hold? North Korea's defiant stance toward the rest of the world stems from a philosophy created by Kim Il-sung called Juche.
The Juche philosophy basically means up yours to the outside world. We can make everything ourselves. We don't need